Well, what's going on? There we go. Welcome to the think tank, guys. Oh, let's see, let's see. Have I got this figured out? Okay. Oh my God, I'm having a day today. Oh, wow. So I want to go over the gag order, that traffic stop video, and they're talking a little bit about Bethany Funk and her taking that interview with the defense. So I'm probably going to do a fast one today. Hubby got evacuated and is on his way home. Big fire where he is working. So yeah, get him home safe and sound. Well, yay. Well, hello, Maxie.
Hello. Can you hear me? Am I here?
Yeah.
What you guys doing?
Just kind of getting started, saying hi. Shauna's joined us.
Hi,
I don't know
Shauna.
I'm not sure. Oh, hi, Jerry. Oops.
He had his headphones on. He like kind of coughed, and I just like gave him the stink eye. I was like, shh.
Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, I'm not going to go through a whole bunch. We'll see how it goes. I would like to go through all those documents that were just dropped, but I started on them this morning, and it's a long go. Like I've gone through them twice. There is a lot that is repeated.
Yeah.
And
I
then
noticed that when I was skimming through it. But it's 166 pages, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not quite sure why the repetition with some of the things. It just has, maybe because they've got more than one charge for him.
Yeah, maybe for each.
Yeah. They did find there was two things on that order. The DNA that came back, there was blood in there, but not as much, not many other samples came back. So that's kind of interesting.
So they had enough of a sample to just, identify that it is human blood, but they didn't have enough to profile it to someone?
Oh, is that right?
I'm asking.
I don't Oh, you're asking.
Yeah.
No, that when they did the presumptive tests, and there was only a couple that came back. So they collected them and took those to the lab, and basically anything else. Like there was swipes on cupboards and things like that. There were that, that brownie color.
Yeah, I think I read at one point there was like a spot in the kitchen or something too.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the bathroom. But that pillow, there's some on that pillow, which I find interesting because that would be an area I would almost expect. He's going to be freaking tired after his workout.
Yeah, but if he was fully covered, let's say like even if the kids were able to somewhat, like, injure him somehow. The fact that he
Mhm.
was, like, completely covered, even his face, like, if he did have some sort of cut, it would have already stopped bleeding from, like, the
So d
coverage on him. So I wonder if that was, like, if he showered and, like, opened up, like, a wound or something and then, like, went to bed and
Yeah. Yeah, if it's his.
if it's his. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be really weird if there was somebody else's blood on your pillowcase. Like,
Well, unless you I
it's not
mean,
normal.
no, it wouldn't be except unless you've just kind of unalived a bunch of people.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a chance of splatter, right? So that's kinda what where I was thinking,
I
is
mean,
the
I would think that he
possibility
would,
of
like, once he got
transfer.
home, he would have, like, sat in the shower for a good minute.
I didn't s Did you see anywhere where they tested that stuff?
You know no, but you know what I did read? I saw that they made a comment about how sparsely furnished his
Yes.
apartment was. Like, he didn't
Yep.
even have a shower curtain.
Nope.
Like,
Nope, he didn't.
and
No,
and
he
I don't know
didn't.
if, like, that's the way his apartment looked the whole time or when Christmas break happened, if
Mhm.
he cleared his stuff out because he maybe kind of had, like, an inclination that maybe he wouldn't be returning.
Well, with that said, the only thing he had was that car, and it wasn't loaded down.
Yeah.
So, he
So he
probably
must
just
not have
lived that
had any
way.
furniture because he had a storage
No,
unit too, right? And there was, like, no
nothing.
mention of furniture in there.
It was empty. It was so empty that there was cobwebs.
Hmm.
So, I know that they did go in and kinda look to see if there was, anything that could have rubbed off, hair, DNA, anything, I guess,
Mhm.
but I didn't see where they got anything come back from that, and it was in his apartment. It was basically, when you live in an apartment, you've got, like, a little usually on the very bottom floor, they'll give
Mhm.
place for storage. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was one of those. It wasn't a st I was at first thinking it was a storage facility. Yeah. Add Let's see here.
Mhm.
But I didn't hear of them taking or testing the pipes, and to me,
Um,
that would be one of the first things you would do.
I mean, it is an apartment complex, so that would be kind of I would think that'd be a little bit difficult. They've probably if
Well,
anything,
just
maybe
the
they, like,
catchers.
swabbed that
I mean, the
rim
catch
part of the drainage. They probably did that maybe, but
Yeah, yeah. Like, the ones that I've seen where they do it, they just go in and they take that one that's directly it's like the little curvy one right under your
right,
sink
yeah.
or right under your tub, like they're in the wall. So, I mean, it might do a little bit of damage to the apartment, but I think that they would probably get an idea if anything like blood went through it.
That would be like, I would think that'd be a long shot just because of water that's coming through there would, dilute that blood and make it more, liquidy to
Okay.
pass through, and then you probably wouldn't have any swabbing it wouldn't do you any good because it wouldn't tell you anything.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay. So, yeah, there's, uh there's that, yeah, a lot of pages, a lot of repetition, and they didn't the stuff that they redacted was it seemed like it was page after page. There wasn't a lot of redacting in the paperwork that they put out, and really, there's a little bit in there, but it's 166 pages of, like, very little information.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's kinda why I was like, "I'll skim through it and see if I, like, see anything that pops out at me that I'm like, oh, this is interesting.'"
Yeah, there
Yeah.
just was not a lot, and I went through it page by page, and then I went through it and skimmed for a while. So, let's take a look at the video here.
Right, his door was locked to his
Oh,
bedroom.
his bedroom door was locked, yep.
so strange. Like, it's just like, I mean, I know people lock their doors, but like,
yeah, that's weird.
you didn't have anything valuable from what it sounds like.
No, 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 not at all.
That Idaho quadruple murder
That's
trial
very odd.
now fighting a subpoena that would force her to testify at a hearing as part of Bryan Kohberger's defense. Now, his attorneys claim that her testimony could clear the murder charges against him. Nancy Grace, host of Crime Stories, here now. The pretrial hearing, I think, end of June on the schedule right now. But
she always looks so foul.
I know, she's got that, like, stink face. Like, she's always ready to just
Nancy,
pop
go
off
ahead
on
and,
you.
well,
oh, yeah.
let's inform our viewers on, as reminders, is what happened in that house. This roommate apparently was inside for about 8 hours before.
Did you have something there, Mexie?
No, not me.
Oh, okay. I was hearing things.
before the police were called. And the police were called by a friend of theirs who wasn't even there, who came to the house around noon local time. And they believe this woman has exclusive information about the alleged killer. Should she be compelled or not, Nancy?
Absolutely not. There were two roommates living on what we believe to be the very bottom floor.
So I listened to this one earlier, and it bothers me because there is mistakes, and I would expect better coming from them. So they're saying here that both Dylan and Bethany were on the first floor.
Did they not read the probable cause warrant?
Of
right?
The murder scene. The 4 beautiful University of Idaho students were on the upper levels, as you can see there in what you're showing. We understand one roommate, Dylan Mortensen, stepped out after hearing something upstairs that she thought was a roommate playing with a dog, and she sees a white male dressed in dark clothing, wearing a face mask.
See what she just did there? She left out all of the times Dylan opened her door. She talks about hearing someone playing with a dog, she thought, and then seeing this masked guy.
Mask with bushy eyebrows, tall and thin, much like the defendant Bryan Kohberger. But she doesn't really understand what's going on, and she goes back to bed. The other roommate, who very well may have slept through the whole thing, is the focus of what we're talking about right now, 21-year-old Bethany Funk. She may have slept through it. She may have seen something, may have heard something. We don't know. Why don't we know? Because her police report and interview is sealed. Now, if you look at the filings by this defense attorney, Ann C. Taylor, it's nothing more than a stunt that is terrorizing a survivor of this brutal slaying. In fact, in motions like these, it's called domestication of an out-of-state subpoena. You must state why the witness is material, why they've got to travel all the way from Reno, nearly 700 miles, back to Moscow, Idaho, to testify for the man the state believes killed her roommates. They say she may have information. That's not enough.
That's an important,
that's by the defense.
Yeah, important distinction there. I was assuming she was the one who did encounter him at 4 o'clock in the morning, but she wasn't. Now, here's what the affidavit says from the private investigator. This is what he writes. Bethany Funk was present at the home 8 hours later when police were called. Arrived on scene, discovered the homicides. During the course of the investigation, it became known to me that Bethany Funk has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. Portions of information Ms. Funk has is exculpatory to the defendant. Here's the key line. Ms. Funk's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by another witness. Would a judge accept her rationale and not force her to testify, at least at the pretrial hearing? Do you think that'll happen, Nancy?
I do not believe a judge is going to enforce this subpoena, and I'll tell you why. This is a prelim. Nobody expects the defense to put up any evidence. This is a bare bone charging mechanism. The state will put up as few witnesses as possible. This is just enough evidence to decide whether there's a question of fact for a jury. Now, clearly the subpoena was going to fail Because, I mean, in this motion, the defense filed, they can't even spell the survivor's name correctly. They misspell it the whole way through. They miss all the legal hurdles you have to reach to get a witness to come from out of state for a jury trial, which this is not. But I've got news for you. In the last hours, there's been a Hail Mary, and somehow Bryan Kohberger's defense has gotten this young girl, who very likely saw all of her friends' murdered bodies, to agree, we hear, to a sit-down interview in her home in Reno.
Wow.
Not travel back to Idaho, not be put on a witness stand, but to have an interview. Now, I would advise her, if you're listening, Bethany Funk, to have a lawyer and your parents with you, as well as the prosecutor.
No shit, Nancy Grace.
If it indeed happens.
Good advice.
Right?
Nancy, nice to see you. It was
Like, who do you think set that up? It was her lawyers that set that up. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Of course they're going to be there.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah. She's hard to take at times.
I know.
So we do know that Bethany Funk is going to do that. What do you think of that she's doing that? I don't know if she'll do it, which platform she'll use, but she's doing like that video deposition.
What could she possibly know?
Yeah, I don't have any idea if this is anywhere near true, but they've just talked about some naked guy running out the door.
Was she, I mean, was she the one that opened the front door for the delivery?
Right, that's true, right? That bottom door was open.
Is she, because she's also the one that provided police with the information of where Xana and Ethan were all night.
Bethany was?
Bethany, yeah. Bethany was the one that told cops, like, you know, told them where Ethan and Xana were the whole night, because she was also at that party.
Right. And she said she's seen them around 9 o'clock or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not finding that, so we'll pop over here. There we are. Yeah.
Does she know secrets? Like, this was one of them, like, dating him, or was she, was she talking to him, or was...
Yeah. It's definitely curious. Like, I forgot about that bottom floor, that door being open.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
And, cops, like police, and I mean, this is nothing against them, but they will put something in the probable cause that suits them and their idea of who the suspect is, right? Obviously.
Right.
So if Bethany does really have a story and she really did hear something, what if it contradicts Dylan's?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm kind of worried about. Hubby must have had to have a big detour.
Hey, yeah, what's going on in Canada? You guys okay? You guys like burning down?
Well,
you need our assistance.
Right. Well, the area that he's working in, a huge fire, and a few places were evacuated. So he was evacuated last night, and of course, everywhere he went, all the hotels and everything are booked up because they've evacuated something like 13,000 people. So they're all taking, yeah.
How'd this happen? Was this like a campfire thing or forest fire?
Probably no. Chances are good it was a lightning strike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wow. When you get that dry lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this happen a lot in Canada? I don't think I've ever heard of like a fire in Canada.
Yeah, we get a lot of fires. Like we get hundreds in the mountains every year. Wow. Hundreds. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we've had a big one up north that the damage that it did, I mean, it destroyed a city up there.
Well, yeah. I'm glad he got out. He's on his way back.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea where he is, but on his way back. I don't know which roads a person would take is all. So
That's got to be terrifying. There's a documentary on Netflix that I added to my list to watch about one of like the worst California fires, I think it was. Like it just happened suddenly out of like a campfire, just like it immediately grew. And people were like stuck in these flames, like driving through the roads with like fireballs falling through the sky.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Scary.
I've seen some pretty big fires. And they've destroyed, oh my God, as far as the eye can see. And I mean you can drive and drive and drive and drive and you're still in the burn. And when it comes to national parks and all of that stuff, they let it do whatever it does unless it starts to get close to a city or a town. But in the parks, they don't stop the burns. They don't do anything. They let it go. And once it starts to get near, cities or towns or whatever, but by that time they're huge. Yeah. So this is about that gag order. Media coalition challenges gag order again in Idaho slayings. Does he not look like the creepiest dude you ever did see?
Yes.
Like his eyes, like, oh my God. There's nothing in there. Like there is nothing in those eyes.
Remember when we put him and Ted Bundy right next to each other?
Yep.
And I was like, I know what Ted Bundy did, and this guy still terrifies me more than Ted did. Like looking at them side by side.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to sit near him. The energy that would bounce off that guy would be horrible. So it says a coalition of 30 news organizations launched another effort Monday to get a gag order lifted in the criminal case of a man, barely a man, accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death. I don't know, for whatever reason, these kids have taken over my heart, and that's what I call them, the kids. So if ever I'm talking about, they're the kids. Yeah.
They were kids who were like just starting out their lives, about to be cut short.
So it says here the coalition, which includes the Associated Press, had asked the Idaho Supreme Court earlier this year to reject the gag order issued in the criminal case against Bryan Kohberger, contending it violates the First Amendment rights of a free press. The order prohibits attorneys, prosecutors, law enforcement agencies, and others involved in the case from talking to the news media unless they are quoting directly from a court document. But last week, the Idaho Supreme Court unanimously denied the request, saying the news groups should first ask the lower court to have the order lifted. The Supreme Court justices did not want to weigh in on whether the gag order violates First Amendment rights.
Whose First Amendment rights does it violate, though? The press? Because they don't get to talk about it? Because they don't have any
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because you do not hear a lot of, us just regular citizens going, oh, this is not cool. This is unfair. Because I think most of us understand if things are kept under seal, there's a pretty good reason for it.
Yeah. Let's not mess up the trial, guys. Like.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, just there's so many destructive, whether it's YouTube, whether it's mainstream media, or, they're going to go after stuff.
Yeah, they always do. And like this is like a way to avoid that thing that happens that people complain about, the trial by media, like where you're already like pretty much tried by the eyes of the citizens. That's kind of, it's hard. And with Idaho being a small town, like, or a small little kind of populous area,
Yeah.
You don't want to give too many details about a case because you might taint like the jury pool. You don't want to let them
Well,
have their
and
own
hypothetically, what if
opinion.
they are watching somebody else?
Yeah,
Hypothetically, what if they are watching somebody else? They do not want that out there. They want nothing out there
right.
like that. They want somebody to go out there and sink their ship. There's plenty of reasons. And with the families, well, Steve Goncalves, bless his heart, he basically showed the reason why families should not get a hold of too much information, because some people will use it. He was basically using that as ammunition. And
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
I
they don't
mean,
want me to say this? Well, I'm gonna say this.
I
And
feel
it's
bad for the
like,
guy. Like, I can't help but feel bad for the guy because,
oh, no,
he has
frick.
every right to know what happened to his child, but like,
He just has to wait like the rest of us would
yeah,
have to wait. And I'm sure patience is not great. It's not probably it doesn't come easy, but it's too easy if it was open to everybody, everything that they've got, well, all of a sudden you've got a defense that has all the answers because they know exactly what to go out and
right.
try and shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
and
gives
I
them an
know, like,
unfair advantage.
I know that her dad he just wanted answers. I think because he just felt like
Yep.
nobody was, talking to
Well,
him, but that's the way
yeah,
it works, man. Like, but I
yeah.
think they eventually sat him down and, like, maybe talked to him, like, kinda gave him,
Something happened, yeah,
yeah, like,
because it just
what he
stopped.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably threatened him, like, the court probably threatened him, like, "You can't
I
be
hope
doing
not.
this, I'll have."
That'd be kinda lame because, I mean, I hope there's no threats towards him, like, "Hey, shut your mouth." Like, that's his kid, you know? Like,
I still think the courts system
with the
would
gag.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, they would just say, "Listen, you cannot be doing this, like,
Mhm. And that's
we don't
probably what the
wanna
gag order
fine
is
you."
for too,
Yeah.
is specifically for him.
Well, yeah, just in case, well, like I said, it also gives the defense an unrealistic, heads up. They
Yeah.
can't, they do get all of the, stuff regardless, but it just seems to me that it would too much gets out there, there's too many ways to hurt the case,
Yeah.
you know?
I do wonder, like, they must have read once the defense came on, they must have gotten a hold of, like, the police reports, like, the interrogation, like, the questioning that they did on Bethany and Dylan,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they must have read something in there that, like, this is why they're now going after her.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Wow. So they're saying here that it is a balancing act between the First Amendment protections afforded to the press and the Sixth Amendment for a fair trial. And promise to defendants has become increasingly difficult with the advent of the internet and social
Yeah.
media. And I mean, used properly, great tools, but at the same
Mhm.
time,
You will be tried in the eye of,
yeah,
mainstream media. Yeah.
a gag order aggravates me. The gag order. Does it, Shauna? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people that really are not
I
interested in.
I find it frustrating only because of my inquisitive nature. I just like to know things. I just wanna
Yeah,
know. I have
yeah,
questions, and I wanna know the answers to those questions. But I
yeah.
also respect the process of, the system, and
Yeah,
I hope they're doing it for the right reasons, That's all I can.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are, because the way I see things happening, it does not seem to be that different than any other case.
Mhm.
I'm not, it all seems to be, it's just, yeah, they want to know what the hell happened to their kid. So I find this really interesting. I'm not sure. We'll just get through this.
Economy annually.
Have you seen the stop by the campus police or the?
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Oh, the look on him and how he was testing that woman. Oh, wow.
Hello.
Yeah.
I am Officer Langus.
Okay. Already stopping. What a freak.
In that situation, the best thing to do then would be back.
Recorded. I think Officer. I am Officer Langus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
The way he starts questioning her.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
No respect. And this is what? One day short of a month before the kids.
Yeah, October, it looks like.
You what?
I'm just going to get this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 months. 1 month?
We're actually about 1 month short. No, right? Yeah, 1 month short.
So in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
if you're stuck in their intersection, you have to take the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done?
Not
just
You stay behind
You're
the
not
white
supposed to
line,
block an
Brian.
intersection like that in Washington.
God.
So just by you blocking the
Or in
intersection,
any
that's
state.
Look at
technically
his
a ticketable
eyes.
violation, and then then you're running a red light, so it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go, because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on.
Oh my God.
their light.
Doesn't matter. You
So I thought
stop.
maybe they were letting me go through.
oh
Did you see that?
no.
Because they have the right of way.
I made the turn. There was someone.
Can you imagine those eyes in the middle of the night?
Their signal,
No.
So I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
No.
Yeah,
Those
so
eyes.
I would just advise
Mm-mm.
just don't enter the
I'm
intersection
going to
until
help you.
you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back.
What a. See, he's being a dick.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back
The
up
best
into
thing to do is
somebody
stay behind the
or
white
you're going
line.
to run a red light.
Yeah.
So, or you're
I
going to be
should
sitting in
back
an
up.
intersection.
Wow.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm.
She said, nope, you were there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines of each one.
Oh my goodness.
Another one. I think there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
He makes me feel violent.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't.
That's
when
a
you're just
law in
stalling.
every
I forget
state.
the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 1 second.
Just look in the driver's in the driver's manual.
Right.
Pennsylvania registration, like it all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd or 2022. Okay. And
yeah, one of those essentially.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right.
I hate people like this.
So I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's basically it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection to accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles despite any traffic control signals. signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection. Yeah. So that's if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
then basically, I understand.
You're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time, but
it never even occurred to me that was actually something wrong. But
the same in Pennsylvania, Bryan.
Yeah, and states vary a lot
wild
from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington
they do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area, so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh,
unless I visit an area.
Yeah, his eyebrows would certainly stick out, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about.
You don't look sorry. His eyes don't say they're
sorry.
Oh yeah.
From here, so
no.
If you don't
monotone,
don't
nothing
know
changes.
A bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But yeah, if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Definitely you too.
Yeah.
I don't like people like that. The ones that argue like something that's just so stupid. You're like,
yeah.
This is why, like, if you get a license in one state, you can drive to other states because most of the driving laws are the same. When you're driving on the road and you see a white line, you don't cross it. That's the same everywhere. You don't cross the white line. Same when you do like a solid line, you don't cross it. Like, I don't understand why that's difficult. Like,
yeah. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. He was just trying to be irritating. And I haven't figured out, I've watched it a few times. I can't figure it out if he's just trying to belittle her because she's a woman or if he likes to test people. Yeah.
Probably that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he thinks that he's better and smarter than everybody else. And then he obviously has something against women. Like,
absolutely. So let's see, I'm just trying to see if I can find anything else. Even those documents, it might even take a couple videos if I want to go through them all. See what I can find here. Yeah, that was the first I heard about that storage locker.
And so there was nothing in there. It just kind of reminds me, like, I figured it'd be like one of like the apartment complexes that have basements, and you can like rent one of those like little shed. It's like they're made out of like chicken wire and like plywood doors. Like they're cheapy things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is kind of what it sounds like. That is what it sounds like. Lots on that stop. So yeah, like we were saying in the paperwork, there's a lot of repetition, little bit that was redacted when it, but they were like page by about 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 pages that were redacted. But otherwise, it was basically everything we know. So we do know that he will be going back to court on the 25th. And now this is for that gag order. So let's see if I can find, Judge Megan Marshall set a hearing for May 25th for the 28-year-old criminology PhD student accused of attacking 4 students in their sleep on November 13th. Kohberger is also later due in lay talk for his preliminary hearing on June 28th. It's June 26th, is it not? Has it changed? Do we know?
His court thing? I thought they had made a new one. They pushed it up.
Well, they've got one on the 25th for the gag order. And then June 26th is supposed to be for him to give his plea and all the rest.
What do you think he's going to plea?
Oh my. Not guilty.
Yeah.
Not guilty. Hearing on June 28th. Okay, I'm going to have to do some digging. And if I'll put it on my community post on YouTube or something if the date has changed. But I don't think it has. Yeah, and they are saying maybe they're just bugging her, right? Like they're doing whatever they can to throw her off. I don't know.
I know this is like a part of the gag order because like I really wish I knew more because right now where it stands with if that blood that they found in his apartment, if they can't match it to one of the kids or like the hairs that they found match it to one of like the dog in the house.
Yeah.
They really don't have much. If the only place they have his DNA, like if everything else in the house is spotless, doesn't even include him, and the only place they found his DNA was on that sheath.
Yeah.
That can be explained away. Like you can find an excuse for that, right?
You'd find something.
Right now, like the way it sits, like it doesn't look like, unless the prosecution has a lot more, unless they really do have like the kid's blood in his apartment, then I don't see them having like, because it's all circumstantial. Even Dylan's eyewitness account, you saw a tall guy, slender guy, dressed in black with bushy eyebrows. How many people can fit that description? That could be anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for now, the gag order does remain in place, preventing anyone connected to the case from speaking publicly. So then they'll go on the 25th of this month and see if they can get that. Because there's lots of media. And for some reason, it's sounding like Ann Taylor, is she still wanting that information out? Are they wanting...
Yeah.
$200 an hour for her 40-hour work week. Any overtime she accrues will be paid by the Lata County directly to the attorney, with a second lawyer supporting her at $180 an hour. So how is it this case gets all these like lawyers? And you look at some of the other cases and the lawyers that they have, it's like, what? Like, yeah, it just, to me, it blows me away. I mean, is that just luck of the draw?
Well, there's a difference between like state appointed and like public. Like they're all part of the same like pool list, right? But public defenders, like the state appointed ones, those are the ones that get paid more, like by the hour, because they're specifically appointed by the judge, because the judge thinks that they would be,
so they're giving
like the best for the case, you know.
Okay, so she's getting her regular.
Yeah.
Okay, her regular fee.
Do you know the attorneys? I've been meaning to look this up. I'll look it up here in a second. If Letitia's lawyers were state appointed, or were they just like defense, like the other
No,
guys?
I think they're just
public defenders.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah,
I do
they're not
believe
state appointed. Like the judge didn't appoint them specifically.
No, I don't think so. I think just like, I mean, that's the way I've always seen it, is they're state appointed.
Man, I feel bad for those guys.
Yeah, that's why like you see something like Letitia and whoa, and then you've got Kohberger who's getting like all these expensive lawyers. It's like, what?
Hey,
But
can we watch someday? We don't have to do it today, but Baez responding to Letitia's comment about him representing. He
damn
clowned on
straight.
her so hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He really did. He really did. So I just want to mention, let's talk about that for a couple seconds before we get back to Kohberger. There's a few people pretty choked that they didn't come to a decision before the weekend.
So
yeah, like
I
they're
really
saying
thought it was gonna it was only gonna be like an hour. Maybe if that, like it was gonna only take so long because the judge was still talking. And then he said that he was gonna give like a 30-minute heads up before they brought him back in. I'm really like, I'm scared. I am kind of scared. I'm trying to be hopeful and think that the jury was just like, yo, it's been a long 6 weeks. Like they got dismissed. They went back in there to the room. They ate their lunch, and maybe they just sat around and talked about like the most shocking things to them, or
that could
like
be
their own personal experiences, like in the trial. And they were like, you know what? Let's take the weekend, come back Monday, and let's get to it. Like, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. It's a little bit
but I'm a little bit scared because Bruja, like, she makes some really good points on Discord, like, and I'm kind of was like, man, I don't want to hear your points because they scare me. Because I'm like, what is she seeing that I don't see? She thinks that they're gonna get hung. The jury's gonna get hung on this because of how the doctor totally like just screwed the lines of insanity, like what the meaning of insanity is.
But did she? I mean,
kind of, and I'm gonna say this just like for my own personal thing, because I can kind of like take a step back and not look at things at right and wrong and like listen to her point, and I could understand what she was trying to say. That when she would say like, oh, well, you might see something different than I see, and like, or I kind of get that, but she's sane. Look at all the things she did to cover her tracks. Insane people don't do that.
That's
if you had a mental breakdown and snapped, your next reaction wouldn't be to just go around covering up the crimes. Like, and she took extensive steps in that, and it's premeditation to me from the Google searches that started happening a week earlier.
Yeah,
she planned this. I don't know. I'm scared. I hope that she's gonna be guilty. I just want her to go to prison. I don't want her to go to a mental hospital because.
Well, no, because that's not her situation. Crazy. Yeah. I mean, she might, just because she needs. I mean, she is cooked in the head, but she does know right from wrong. And I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. Is it Eileen Wuornos? They put her to death saying that woman wasn't crazy. So look what they're capable of. Like, like she was very, very much insane, that woman. The judge appointed his lawyers. Yeah. Richard Allen's.
Yeah, they're fancy guys. They're no joke.
Yeah. We were talking about that as soon as we seen them. You were like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Like, did you see those tailored suits? I was like, these guys aren't just like public defenders. Like,
exactly.
They got their own major practices.
Scared me.
She did. She brings up really good points, but like, I was just like, man, what is she seeing that I'm not seeing? But
right.
Man, she could be right. I don't know. Like,
maybe I'll do a video on what's going on with that this weekend. Because it is very interesting. They're calling this the top secret storage locker.
top secret storage locker that had
That's
nothing
what
in
they're
it.
saying. Like it, you know, they say that social media is bad. Well, my word. So you know what? I think that's what I've got. I think that's what I've got. Everything else we've talked about. Yeah. We know about the internal affairs, the firing squad. There's that paperwork. But again, I'm going to have to go through and decide which ones I'm going to do and which ones I'm not, because there's so much that it doesn't make a difference to us.
Mm-hmm. Not right now. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess they found possible hair east wall of shower.
Yep.
No.
Yep. There was one in a drain that was sitting on top in the tub, and another one in the bathroom. Yeah. Yeah, so everything else that I'm kind of seeing is what we've covered. Other than that, it's basically everything that we've seen, except now they're telling us where they found it.
Did you read?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm just looking through like what they picked up. It says pizza cutter, top drawer, west of sink, east of fridge, reddish scratch in metal.
Yes.
So what are they trying to say? That he murdered 4 people, came home and made himself a pizza?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, exactly. She was, Shauna, she was like batshit crazy. And I mean, I know what she did was wrong. I know, but there was a wounded puppy. Like, she was batshit crazy. And they say they will not. She belonged in a hospital. She just did.
Yeah, the Nicholas Cruz one still breaks my heart, because I was watching the guilty verdicts, and every time they got to that last question of does it meet the grounds for, the death penalty, and they all said no. And like the parents, man, like the sigh that they would give, like that just disappointment in their face, like they all really wanted him to burn,
just be dead. Yeah. So is there a difference between a state hospital and a state criminal hospital? Is there a difference?
Well, so the other day I was watching a documentary about this guy named Billy Milligan, who apparently had DID. He had 24 personalities, like different personalities, from Ohio. And like one of the places that he wanted to be at was like, he really liked it there because it was really lax. Like it was a state mental hospital, but they had not a big population of people. Like they only took so many, and like they actually gave them like therapy and like medicated them for what they had, like actually treated them. But then when they moved, like there was also this other place that was called like a state mental prison or something. And it was literally just like a prison. You were behind a wall, like a gate, and they would give you medication, but like the doctor there said that he didn't have DID, so he was like treating them for like schizophrenia, and it just made it even worse. So like he was like locked up 24 hours a day, like in a cell, surrounded by like a whole bunch of crazy people that were just not being medicated correctly, and they were just like literally crazy. Just let them, yeah. So there is a difference. One of them is definitely better than the other.
Right.
One of them is more a prison. The other one's more like a hospital. I think that's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm curious. Do they really think that's blood on the pizza cutter, on the screwdriver, underneath the sink?
I know. I guess they just take whatever, right? Anything
Oh,
that.
yeah, I mean, whatever looks suspicious. Yeah. Like, you
Yeah.
might as well just take it and test it and see what's on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of these are negative.
Okay. Yeah, they're all negative. I think there was only 2 that came back as blood, but they don't tell you whether or not it is whose blood it is, if it's animal, if it's human. They don't give us any kind of explanation, just that it came back.
I'm sure that one on the pillowcase, though, they might actually be able to get it like a couple of typings off of that one for like for markers. And then there's one on the mattress cover on the bed. That's positive. And I can't understand some of this chicken scratch writing.
No. And again, that's just the stuff that wasn't put into the computer. It was just his notes, but it's the same that we've gone through.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of repetition. I bet you he did. I bet you're right, Shauna. How's that for you?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Everything I see him in, regardless of which situation, he's always got that same empty, no expression on his face.
How do you think he's like doing in prison? He's in solitary, right? Or are they keeping him pretty confined right now?
Yeah. I think he's the kind of guy, if he has books, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. Because he's pretty solitary as it is. So I think it's probably harder for the ones that are out there very, very social and what have you. But he didn't seem to like people a whole lot. So I don't imagine.
If I ever got myself into prison, I could do prison. I have no problems like being
by
alone.
yourself.
Yeah, none whatsoever. It's the people. Yeah. So like I think as soon as like if I got myself in prison, I would immediately like shank someone just to go solitary.
Don't come near me. Right. Yeah. Stay away from me. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah. So there's things going on with these cases. Richard Allen's going to be coming up.
Is Richard Allen even going to be able to survive to make it to court?
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen a picture since that one.
He looked bad.
Oh, damn straight he did.
I had no idea. Like at first, like I was kind of like joking about it. I was like, whatever. He can just like sit his ass in there and see what happens. Don't get arrested, right? But when I saw that picture, I was like, oh my God, like the dude looks sickly, like he's got like.
I put it on the screen. Is this the picture you're talking?
Like pancreatic cancer or something.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look good.
Look at his shirt. It's like nasty and dirty and.
Yeah. Yeah. And in my mind, he's doing this to himself. I really, really believe that. Because of the high profile nature of this case, I don't think that he would be getting abused. I think that they've got too many eyes on them.
Whenever they put this out, like, did he say that he was being like denied meals, or did like the jail say that he was refusing meals, or
I don't think anything was really said except that he didn't like it.
Well, yeah, I'm done. It's on freaking vacation.
So I think he went to a place that is closer for his wife to go see him if she chooses.
Mm.
I think that was part of it. I don't know where they had moved him. Wonder why he shaved
I
his
heard
head
something
bald.
about mice. Yeah, rodents. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And the Lori Vallow case is still going. But of course, that one's not being aired.
Did you hear that they found her fingerprint on the bags too?
Yep.
Like her DNA was on there.
Yep. Right?
She deserves
So
the penalty.
that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. So they've got what now? We've got the brother's fingerprint. And do we now have her fingerprint as well, you said?
I think they said it was like that her DNA or something, or partial fingerprint was like hers. I thought I heard that.
Okay. And one of her hairs?
Yeah, that she was definitely like, because I know like prior, like we knew that Alex's was on there. Like his
right
fingerprint was on the bags.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, that's why they were charging her with, she's not actually getting charged with murder. She's getting charged with, conspiracy to commit or.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
She's the mastermind. Like, she's gave the go-ahead. She was supposed to be the mother to protect her children, give your own life for your kids, and she fed them willingly. Yeah. He's a wolf.
Well, like I was saying the other day, like we look at Karla Homolka. Look at Karla Homolka. She got a really good deal. She's been out of jail for a very, very long time. But her husband at the time, who was pretty bad, he's still in jail. She's married, got kids, was living in the Bahamas at one point. It's like, what?
There was, and I think I sent it to Shauna, and I can't remember his name anymore. But he was a serial killer in the 80s. And what he would do was, like, he would go around and he would find, like, rental or for sale houses and, you know, pretend to be interested. And when he realized that the home that he was visiting was a single mother, you know, with a little child who could be easily overtaken, he would come back the next day and assault them, set them on fire, and then, you know, leave the premises. But, you know, when he first started out when he was 17. And then I think served like a little bit of time, came out, and his girlfriend, the girl that he met and lived with, would help him clean up, bring in victims, help him clean up the scene, let him do whatever he wanted to do to them. And like, she served no time at the end.
Brutal. And Dandy's right. Like, look at Manson. You look at a lot of these cases because they'll say, if doesn't matter which one of you did it, you're all being charged for the same thing. So
it almost makes me feel like it's really like on the jury what depends on what you get or not. Like, especially if you pick a trial by your own peers. Like everybody can be charged with murder. I mean, obviously the circumstances are going to be different, but then it's really up to the jury to decide.
And isn't there, when they get their jury instructions, when they're given the different, murder, conspiracy to murder, blah 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 blah, all the way down, and they've got to decide. I don't know, but I think they're given which choices they are allowed. I don't think that they get to add to those choices.
We should probably maybe go over, like, maybe not right now if you don't want to, but like if you want to do like a live on Letitia, just, you know, what's
Mhm.
going on. I'd like
Mhm.
to kind of go over that little spot where the judge actually went over the specific jury instructions that like
Mhm.
what they could charge her with and what the specific things were.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in.
Because I mean, I'm sure that's probably like a hard read for like the jury. They're sitting there and they're like, doesn't this say the same thing? Like, but it doesn't. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I'd be interested to like go over those just to kind of see what is on what the jury is looking at exactly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh my. Oh my. Hey,
Did
Mom.
you happen to hear Mel's rant that he went on? It's like a icky Mel.
About them
Yeah.
not coming to
Not
Oh,
coming
he was
to it.
mad.
He went on this 10-minute rant. I just
Yeah, and he
love
never
this
does
guy.
that.
Love this guy. And he made some good points because he brought up the Murdaugh case, right? And he was like,
Yeah.
that one had more questionability in it than this one
Yeah.
did. And that came back in 3 hours. Not even 3 hours.
Exactly.
Well, it was like, it only took him 45 minutes to decide, but what is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he was cranky. What do you mean? It only he's even dropping F-bombs all over the place. And yeah, it's like he's pissed. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, look at what she's done. And she's admitted it. So it's not like we have to say allegedly because she's like, I did that. And I mean, her behavior is not of someone with any kind of multiple personalities because there was every single trigger imaginable in that trial. Probably Dandy.
Her and her lawyer acting like freaking giddy little schoolgirls.
Oh,
right
wasn't
next to each other, laughing, looking at something on the computer, and they were just like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
I just,
oh, yeah, it was bad.
So disrespectful.
He was live. I didn't see the shots though. Get down. Yeah. There's some pretty interesting cases. We should do what maybe we'll do is we'll set up for, how about we just do why don't we do a live that is basically just talking about all these different cases? It can be Letitia. It can be, yes, that's a good way. A smorgasbord of cases. Let's chat. Right? And that's pretty much what it is right now. Was he Dandy? He was taking them on the live vodka. He was. That's funny. Good on him. He's totally one of my favorites.
He is. He's so chill, you know. He seems like he's very relatable. He really is like just laid back and chill.
Absolutely. Well, how about we finish up with this live, and I set one for maybe 6 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock mine.
Okay.
Straight vodka. And I think I'm going to use that. A smorgasbord of cases. Let's check.
Don't ask me how to spell it because I have no idea.
I'll figure it out. A smorg.
A smorgasbord. A plethora.
A plethora of cases, right? I like that
it's too. A little snack tray. A little snack tray. Like this.
Okay, and that gives, hubby should be home pretty quick here. He was about an hour and away last time I heard from him, so we'll get him settled, and yeah, we'll set up for a smorgasbord of cases.
I'm ready.
Love it. Okay, That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome because there's so much, but a lot of it is just maybe not long enough, like enough to do,
Yeah.
yeah, full live on or a full video. So we'll do that. Well, all righty then. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, guys, set your bells, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. See you in a few.
Bye. Bye.